We're going to start tonight with the latest on this week's severe weather outbreak. The Washington County Sheriff's Office sharing this surveillance video they captured Monday night when the outbreak of tornadoes was happening. National Weather Service confirming an EF2 in Greenland and several EF1s across Washington County and eastern Oklahoma. Scott's here to tell us we even have new information on more tornadoes, this time in the River Valley.
Yeah, coming out just a few minutes ago. So let's get straight to it. Here's what we've got out there. We've got 9 tornadoes confirmed at this point, with more surveys planned tomorrow. It's just going to take a little bit longer out there. You're looking at the big picture of the tracks. Let's take a closer look into what we've got. The first tornado, of course, was the one we tracked out of Weber's Falls, really into the Gore. We're calling it the Gore tornado. That was an EF1. That same storm lifted, dropping another tornado that lifted just west of Greasy near Bunch there. Third tornado, I should say, is what we're calling the Stillwell tornado, also an EF1 crossing 59. It didn't lift until the Dutch Mills community there in western Washington County. Another short EF1 that really started at the state line, moving over towards Cane Hill. Lincoln, of course, as we reported on, 2 tornadoes. One was really small on the ground for really just a minute or two. Lincoln, the second one, that moved south of town, south of Prairie Grove. Same storm lifted, dropping that EF2 by Greenland, crossing I-49, not lifting it until it got up towards Highway 16 in Elkins. So what about those new tornado tracks? We've got 2 of them. There's going to be a couple more, I think, but right now we've got Shady Point coming in at an EF1. Bacola through Central City, moving through Fort Chaffee, that also now rated an EF1. I think there are going to be more, Weather Service tells us, more surveys planned. Wish I could tell you we aren't going to have storms tonight, but as you can see, just as expected, there's a batch of storms moving out of southwestern Missouri. This new severe thunderstorm warning for McDonald County. A lot of these are going to be clipping Carroll County. We may see 1 or 2 clip other parts of northwest Arkansas, maybe Benton, but the general track on these moving more southwest to northwest, I should say, to the southeast. Level 2 potential there for tonight. Hail would be the primary concern, maybe some gusty winds as well. Taking a look off towards the north, every once in a while you'll see some lightning from downtown Fayetteville. Storms late tonight, some storms tomorrow, some weekend rain chances. Weekend rain chances have increased, and that is going to be an impactful event for some of us for your holiday weekend plans. We'll track that coming up.
All right, Scott, thanks. The American Red Cross on the ground in Greenland tonight, helping storm victims after this week's EF2. Volunteers working street by street there, helping people clean up in the hardest hit areas. They're also giving relief supplies, that is, like tarps, water, and blankets. Others are surveying damage and seeing what the immediate needs are.
We're going to continue calling people and stopping by people's houses and just assessing damage. After that, then we'll start making phone calls and checking to see if people need their medications replaced, because sometimes that gets lost in the disaster.
If you're affected by this week's tornado outbreak, you can reach out to the Red Cross at the number there at the bottom of your screen, 1-800-RED-CROSS. You can also reach out through the American Red Cross website. We also got an in-person look at storm damage in LaFleur County today. Emergency managers say the worst of the damage within a 2-mile radius around Shady Point there in LaFleur County. They say even though there were multiple water rescues and property damage in the area, there are no reported injuries and only 2 families were displaced. They're already putting out a preliminary report with pictures of damage to send to the state to get the ball rolling on financial recovery for the area.
You got to meet a threshold first in order to qualify.
What is that?
$230,000 is what it ends up being. So we'll have to meet that. I'm not sure that we'll meet that threshold, but we're going to try. We're working at it.
All the rain from spring storms has forced the Corps of Engineers, by the way, to temporarily close 3 swimming beaches on Beaver Lake. You can see them here. They're all on the Benton County side of the lake. Horseshoe Bend, Hickory Creek, War Eagle Park, all closed. High water, floating logs, and other debris have caused a safety hazard in those areas. Now, the waters have also submerged picnic tables and grills and parking lots and day-use areas around the beaches. Corps of Engineers didn't say when those beaches would be back open again. A Fayetteville woman is searching for a hero after her 3-year-old daughter was swept over a waterfall at Tanyard Creek in Bella Vista, but walked away with no injuries. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer shares the emotional moments leading up to the rescue and the family's mission now to find the man to tell him thank you.
The whole way I'm stuck in between God, please, and God, I know you won't.
Kaya Livingston and her family have been to Tanyard Creek 3 or 4 times before.
The nature's beautiful.
But Tuesday's trip turned terrifying rapidly.
She was standing on the bridge with her friends. They were throwing in rocks. So we told her not to get too close. And then somehow she just stuck her foot in there. She was gone.
Kaya says her daughter got swept away right here and fell about 15 feet down the waterfall until a man dove into the strong current to save her.
I just took off running across the bridge, trying to get down to the bottom, trying to find a part of the waterfall where we can catch her. She was thankfully wedged between a rock that held her underwater, held her in place where he was able to go scoop her up under the rocks and then carry her out of the water.
Miraculously, 3-year-old Melody walked away from the incident with no serious injuries and was back in good spirits the very next day.
I think yesterday was completely on God. When I couldn't get to the water, I had nobody to call on but God. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. My faith always been strong, but he was right there.
Kaya is now looking for the man who saved her daughter's life. Her post in a local Facebook group has gone viral, with hundreds joining in to help find him.
We got so much love, so much prayers, respect from people we've never met, and it means everything.
Melody will now see her 4th birthday this Sunday, all thanks to the stranger who stepped in when it mattered most.
You're my hero.
In Bella Vista, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Kaya says she's hoping to find Melody's hero because the 3-year-old says she wants to thank him herself. She says reaching out on Facebook is the best way. Well, Walmart says it plans to eliminate roles at its corporate office and global technology team. The Bentonville-based company announcing less than 1,500 people would be affected by this cutback. In a letter, leaders say the move is part of, quote, building for the future. For Walmart U.S., the restructuring is affecting operations teams and the Walmart Connect marketing group for global tech. The changes were focused on simplifying structure. Walmart added it was working closely with associates who are being affected by this. Arkansas State Police holding its annual awards ceremony today, recognizing state troopers with distinguished accolades. The honors include life-saving awards, Trooper of the Year, and State Police Employee of the Year. Attorney General Tim Griffin expressed gratitude for the dedicated efforts of the state police force to reduce crime.
I've heard about some of the illicit massage parlors and stuff that are run by China-based folks. Tons of cooperation with you guys. Organized retail crime, state police cooperation. Right down the list. Y'all have been a great, great partner.
All the proceeds from today's gathering, by the way, support state police troopers and their families. Tonight in Washington, D.C., members of Congress continue to debate this year's budget bill. President Trump and the Speaker of the House are hopeful, they say, that they'll send a bill to the Senate before the holiday weekend. Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill, where a number of Republican holdouts may stand in the way of that happening.
As President Trump welcomed the Florida Gators, the national men's college basketball champions, to the White House Wednesday, House Republicans worked to push across the finish line what he calls his one big beautiful bill.
I feel very confident that we're going to keep this bill moving tonight. Keeping this bill moving means passing it. And look, we know the margins are tight.
House Speaker Mike Johnson was pushing for a House vote on the bill as soon as Wednesday afternoon, but it's unclear if the president will have the votes needed for the bill to pass due to a number of Republican holdouts.
You will see how all of this is resolved, but I think we can resolve their concern.
The budget package includes an additional $350 billion for border security, deportations, and defense, and spending cuts to entitlement programs. But members of the House Freedom Caucus say those cuts and efforts to root out waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid don't go far enough.
You're having 7 times more money going to the able-bodied than the vulnerable. We're trying to fix that.
President Trump worked to rally support for his bill, calling key Republicans for a meeting at the White House Wednesday afternoon. White House officials say the meeting moved the ball in the right direction and called on Congress to immediately pass this bill. The markets tumbled Wednesday due in part to concerns the president's spending bill could lead to exploding federal deficits. The House Rules Committee began debating the legislation in the wee hours Wednesday morning. The committee's vote is the last hurdle before the bill can go to the full House for a vote. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Here is a live look out over the Capitol tonight. Members of Congress still working on this budget bill, especially there in the House. Now, the Congressional Budget Office estimates the current plan will increase the federal deficit by more than $3.5 trillion over the next 10 years. We're following new developments tonight in the Amber Waterman case. Her attorney filing a new motion today claiming her civil rights were violated during this investigation. Waterman was already convicted in federal court for the kidnapping and death of Ashley Bush and her unborn child. She's still set to face a separate trial in Benton County on charges related to the killing. In today's court filing, her attorneys are asking the court to suppress statements and evidence related to the upcoming Benton County trial. They claim investigators entered her home without a warrant and also interviewed her without informing her of her constitutional rights. The court has not responded to the motion. Waterman's next court date, by the way, July 7th. You can find out all the details on today's court filing on our website at 5newsonline.com.